You're about to be possessed by the sounds.
2-6 shit. Yeah, I know what it is. You little suckers get to talking, grabbing that walking, strapped to the pong of the jaws and smacking they sleep with the golfers.
That choppy flow. I'm gonna get that chop flow down one of these days. I promise. I'm a freestyle on this drum too.
I can't wait
That's
to
for
hear
a
it.
different day. Welcome everybody back.
I'm gonna do the
Segment
alpha
2, the locker
scroll
room
on that.
reading. Oh, I can't wait on that. I am your gracious host, Irie Harris. That is Saphyr Blue. That is the Renaissance man himself in the flesh, Chris Murray.
Pastor Cavassier.
We
That's
are back.
a perfect segue, right? Check this out. Are you looking for a relaxing getaway where you can play all day and escape the tedious grind of life, y'all? Then plan your getaway today at Lake Crest Casino and Hotel. It's Ardmore's premier gaming destination, and let the winning begin. Featuring more than 1,000 of the latest games, plus an array of amenities, including an incredible restaurant, exceptional retail experiences, and a resort-style pool. Lake Crest offers everything you need for an unforgettable escape and a winning experience. Book your stay today and go all in on one of the area's most exciting destinations, Lake Crest Casino Hotel. Visit lakecrestcasino.com. That's lakecrestcasino.com.
Beautiful. So going as we were concluding segment 1, Saphyr, you were finishing a thought regarding the holdout from unsigned rookie Shamar Stewart of the Cincinnati Bengals, a 17 overall selection. And I think you were diving into just him actually doing his part with them being at all the mandatory activities and being with the team and in the building despite being unsigned. Can you please finish that thought, OG?
I mean, I appreciate that because, my Virgo sensibilities are like, they're just flaring up. Because,
clear your throat.
Thank you. Throat. It's throat. Drop that
Virgo
R,
sensibility.
right?
I'll write that down. I have to write that down.
Because, Chris, you can get me flared up, throwing those darts about the Browns, right? Right. Anyway, so listen, what had happened was, here's what I was saying, right? The young man did what he was supposed to do. He went to camp.
Right.
Okay, so he walked out the last day of camp. He got his time in, his training in, his one-on-ones in. He's learning the system. It's not, to me, about him. It's about the organization changing the protocol. And this, Chris, this triggers me because of the way that things landed with Shedeur. Okay, you cannot convince me that there was not some type of collaboration, cross-pollination, whatever shun you want to use, because we know how these owners are. These men sacrifice, at least in my view, 20% of their life on this planet playing a collision sport. It is not for the faint of heart. The teams should pay them. And so I'm rather impressed by the young man, because he was a first-round pick. Cincinnati better get it right, because based on what I think I know of him, I'm certain there's some other teams that would want to engage with him. There are enough desperate NFL teams that may be on the periphery. So that's my story, Irie. I'm sticking to it. I am pro-athlete, high school, collegiate, professional. These people work hard all of their lives to get their bodies into shape that I can't even imagine, right? And they have to maintain that year round to excel at the level of play that they perform at. So I'm rooting for them. Not that I'm a Bengals fan, y'all. Let me make sure I clear my throat again, but I'm rooting for them.
Can I respond to that real quick? And I'm responding in a positive briefly, because I think Saphyr is right. I just don't like how the Bengals and other NFL owners, and it's indicative of how the owners, even though the players are making them rich, look at the players. Mm-hmm. They don't care. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm not mad at the kid, but the whole thing though, as a rookie, that's the politics of that. But if it's about, we know the history of the Bengals organization. And they, like I say, Mike Brown is I'll be generous with Mike Brown saying that he is parsimonious and whatnot. In other words, he's cheap, but that's another story.
That is a different story. Thank you for that response. That was job well done. That's a fact. That's a fact. All right, and while speaking about more cheapness going around within the not just NFL, but particularly in the AFC North, because that's where all the booming news has been happening from this week. The Cleveland Browns. I'm sorry, Saphyr. I'm sorry, OJ. I had to do it. I had to do it. The running back room. For the first time since 2017, the Browns will enter the upcoming season without Nick Chubb on the roster. That is right. The former 2018 second-round draftee was not re-signed by Cleveland, and despite multiple reports showing that he wanted to return to Cleveland, he wanted to finish, a Brown. Cleveland did not show the same energy as well. So because of that, he has decided to move on, and he signed with Houston. He did give out a farewell, heartfelt goodbye, a letter via his Instagram. I'll read a little bit of it right quick, where he said, 7 years. That's more than just time. It's where I grew roots, found a home, and felt a love like nobody else. Cleveland, you didn't just embrace me. You became family. To every fan who cheered, shouted, and believed, you gave me purpose. To the city with his great heart and unforgettable spirit, you show me what true community feels like. And I'll go over down to the end right quick, where he says, this isn't goodbye to what we built. It's a thank you for the trust, passion, and moments that made me feel like I belong here from day one. Cleveland, you'll always have a piece of my heart until we meet again. OG, I know it's emotional. I'm very sorry. I have to do it to him, but I have to start with you. And first thoughts regarding Nick Chubb going to Houston and this heartfelt goodbye to the city of Cleveland and the fans that loved him over the past 7 years.
Yeah, it's a hard moment for me. It's a really hard moment for me. I have expressed my views on how the organization on the field looks like to me, how it has not stayed true to its roots. I feel that as a result of that, we get players massacred. And I'm just going to put a period at the end of that sentence and say this. I really, truly wish Nick Chubb the best. And I think he's going to a system that's going to understand how to embellish his strengths without shortening his career any more than the Cleveland Browns did. And I wish him the best of luck. And it's just a really gut check moment. So I'm done with that.
And Chris, Chubb signed a 1 year, $2.5 million deal with Houston. Now, Houston's backfield does also feature Joe Mixon, who himself had a career year with over 1,000 yards, a Pro Bowl season, his second career Pro Bowl season. Is there a possibility thing in which they can not only be a dynamic dual backfield within their division, within the AFC South, but really within the entire NFL, if Chubb is healthy enough?
Yeah, there's a possibility, because sometimes when you have a massive knee injury like that, it does take you a couple of years. Because I didn't feel, when Chubb came back, that he was that force that he once was. Right. But the only problem with Nick Chubb, his injury history goes back to the University of Georgia. He was hurt a lot in those days, and sometimes you can have but so many knee injuries, that it's hard to come back from it. I'm not saying he can't, but my thing is this could be the year that maybe he feels the best he's ever felt in his career, because that's sometimes it takes a couple of years to recover from that kind of knee injury. If he can get the kind of blocking, and Houston's a young, guys, they're a young team and everything. I think that they can win. And but if he's feeling, like I said, if he's feeling like a new man, that can only help that offense. But my thing with Nick Chubb is that how many of those injuries dating back to the University of Georgia years, how much is that going to hurt? How much does that take away? Because anytime you get injured, it seems like your superpower is kind of diminished, so to speak.
That's so fascinating, because I'm sorry. I just, Chris, you are like seriously being passive aggressive tonight. Seriously.
No, I am
yes,
not.
you are.
Yes,
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Oh,
Yeah,
come
you are.
on.
The man, we're talking about not even 3 seasons ago.
Here we
Not
go
even
again.
3 seasons ago, he rushed for over 1,500 yards.
Yeah.
Okay. Admittedly, he was injured. He had some injuries, had to have his knees rebuilt or whatever you want to say when he was at Georgia. But when he got to the pros, okay, he executed at a superior level. He used to be one of the best or top running backs in the league. But then you move forward and you see how with a I got to remember we're on a Christian Lord
decimated offensive line and repetitive offense.
Absolutely. He had to carry the entire load for the Browns offense.
I agree with you. I didn't diminish his talent.
Oh, you try to sneak it in there. I know you, right? So, but my point is, if he even had decent assets, on the field with him, he would still be in a Browns uniform.
Absolutely.
But, they ran him through, which is going to be the beauty of him being, in combo with Mixon, because he's I'm telling you, his career is not over. Write the receipt, okay? Because they're going to know how to use them. So I just had to push back on that a smidgen, because I hear you, Chris Murray.
Are you trying to say, oh my God, I was being objective.
Right. Okay.
I was trying to be objective. I like Nick Chubb. I really do. I liked him at Georgia. I liked him with Cleveland and whatnot. Yeah. He had some great games against the Ravens, played really well. One, including one back in I want to say 2019, where he just ran Baltimore out of the stadium, in their own stadium and whatnot. Right. But but I'm not. But I wasn't attacking. Oh my God!
You know what? We're going to be going battle royale.
Yeah.
I can tell that right now.
Let me try to save this. Let me try. We're gonna do like not yet. Nick Chubb in Houston, and yeah, like you said. I mean, I think that's the one thing as well people forget about. Like this guy, prior to 2023, before the injury happened, he was close to having 1,000 yards in every single season. He was 4 yards short his rookie year, where he only started 9 games. Outside of that, the next 4 seasons afterwards, 1,000 yards every season. Like Saphyr said, 2022, 1,500. I want to say that was second or third, I think, in the NFL. I believe Josh Jacobs won the rushing title that year. Nonetheless, he deserved a right within the conversation for best running back in the league. The injury happened, and honestly, if you want my further 2 cents on it, and we've probably talked about it before on Fear the North, he came back too early. And this is where you guys will get a little bit of the inside stuff within just my view, my side of things. Last year, training camp, he was watching. He was there. His presence was there. That was needed for the team. But he was in shorts, t-shirt, and a hat watching. Even Nyheim Hines, who didn't play a single game, was out there trying to work and do something. When I saw that, and I'm talking to people, I said, if Chubb wants to come back, do not come back until after the bye week. At least look at how this running back room works. Look at how they're doing, and then calculate your return, because is more than just football. It's beyond the field, within the ability to walk. That's what I was thinking. And the fact that he came back week 7, even if he was ready, I personally have a theory and feel that came from another let's just say the higher upper management, because he came back week 7 2023 at a time where the Browns were 1-5. They were terrible. Their playoff chances were looking glim. They're supposed to be great, and now so quickly it was going down to SHIT, and Deshaun Watson was now looking good. Amari Cooper was just traded, and the next day afterwards, then comes out the article through the Players Tribune of Nick Chubb saying, "I'm back." And I tell you what, that game day in the press box, they're giving out pamphlets and everything of Nick Chubb, because we know he's a big fan of Batman. So the superhero aesthetic, I'm thinking like, wow, you guys, this is something. And of course, that same game, Deshaun Watson gets hurt. But I think it more so came within a little bit of a distraction from the mess and chaos that the Browns were headed towards. It was like, hey, we suck, but hey, we got Nick Chubb back. And then as we know, come, I believe, week 15 versus Kansas City, he breaks his ankle. When I saw that, I said, see, came in too early. Like he shouldn't have even came until after after the week 10 bye week. Especially, they had one win when he returned. Respectfully, he was not going to turn things around himself. He didn't even look the same, like you said. So that's that within my 2 cents.
I love that. I absolutely love that, because correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it the case that during his rehab, he had 2 major surgeries?
He did.
Right. So for me, I'm riding with you. When I saw that, I said, oh, they're just throwing this bone out to make people feel like there's the slightest bit of hope, knowing that he was not 100%. And this is another reason why I'm so happy for him that he got out of Berea, Ohio, because that's the leadership. That's the leadership.
Yeah.
The coaching leadership, the organizational leadership that we fans have to endure. Like, it just gets to a point where it's an emotionally abusive. Like a 5-year-old could have figured that out too soon.
Which is why I was saying to you that yes, they did rush to bring him back, because sometimes that first season after a guy, messes up his knee in some way, it's hard for them to get that burst to come back and everything. It's hard to get that burst. But it's usually guys, running backs who come. It was usually like the next season where they're back to 100%. Same thing with quarterbacks. It's the same thing. So I mean, so from that standpoint, this could be a year. If and I'm not saying it's not possible, but this could be a year where with whatever role he has to fill, that he can they can play well and whatnot, but know that that was not a subtle passive aggressive attack on the Cleveland Browns. Although when I do attack the Browns, you will know.
No, I know now. I hear you getting it in. Oh, trust and believe.
I'm trying to save the show.
He set the team 2025.
All right. Well, look, we got a little around 90 seconds left within this segment. Quick thoughts within the current state of the running back room. You have Jerome Ford, who at the moment in early to mid-June looks to be probably the RB1, but then you still do have the new backfield that Cleveland drafted back in late April. You have Quinshawn Judkins from Ohio State, and then Dylan Sampson from Tennessee. Judkins is more north-south, power straight to the hole. Sampson's a little more elusive, a little more, wormy. He'll squirm his way through holes and around. Quick thoughts, Saphyr. We'll start with you first. Within the future of this room in the backfield and Judkins and Sampson and what they could be in Cleveland.
Simply put, I see Judkins being the number 1 back for the reason that you said, north and south. Have we not watched Jerome Ford run the opposite direction?
Yeah,
and have flare-ups of flashes of what he could be? The experiment is over for me. I mean, I want him to prove me wrong. Don't know the man personally, but I'm just saying, on the field, I see Judkins as the number 1.
Okay. Chris, 20 seconds. Final thought within this topic in the segment.
The Browns' number 1 draft pick next year will be a running back.
Oh, shoot. Okay. I'm going to assume it's a college football created player or something, maybe.
Something like that.
At this point, it wouldn't be the most surprising thing. It wouldn't be the most surprising related to the Browns, but that's that. Within that, that's the end of segment 2 right now. I am Irie Harris. That's Saphyr Blue. Renaissance Man himself, Chris Murray. That's the end of segment 2. We got a lot to dive into in the NBA Finals when we come back on this dot. Don't go nowhere. Locker room readout.